You might be thinking, isn't it the middle of March and you're posting a February wrap-up? Yes, I am. Sometimes in life we get behind, but that's okay. We can't give up. So I present to you February's wrap-up, baby. I'm feeling the Disney vibes today. I'm in a Disney mood, you know? 90% of the time, the bops are bopping. Whoever is like producing this Disney music, I bet they make the big bucks. That's the vibe for today. Everything else though is gone to shit. I literally am sweating buckets. My makeup is not makeuping, not serving. I can't seem to find literally anything. So it's pretty just... But these are some of my favorite videos to do, so I'm really excited for these. Plus, we're gonna talk about this big old stack right here, and we have some e-reads too. I'm gonna put this down. This probably does not look the best in the viewfinder. I'm gonna make sure I'm still recording. Okay, still recording. I hope I'm in frame, because I can't see if I was not, because the viewfinder is broken. That's super cool. We're gonna get into the books that I read this month. I read, I think, 9, maybe 10 books. I know 2 of them were a DNF, which we'll talk about, but I just didn't read near as much as I thought I was going to this month. It was so bad that I actually ended up having to do some rereads, because I was afraid that some of these books were going to literally put me in the all-time slump. So I picked up some rereads, and I'm honestly not even mad about it because they're fire, and they were honestly even better the next time around. So let's just go ahead and talk about it. So the very first book that I have is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and this was one of my most anticipated reads of the year. This book just really let me down. I don't know if it was because I set my expectations for it just way too high, or if the book actually just wasn't that good. But if you don't know who Ali Hazelwood is, she is basically the queen of STEM romance. She wrote Love Theoretically, Love on the Brain, Love Hypothesis. They're all fantastic books, and this was her first fantasy debut. So with me being an absolute fantasy fanatic, I was extremely excited about this book, and it honestly just it flopped for me. This book was supposed to be giving Twilight, enemies to lovers, sexy, quirky, literally everything that I'm obsessed with, and well, it gave me the ick. I honestly wasn't minding it at all in the beginning, but I got about 45% of the way through the book and it kind of just went downhill from there. Sadly, there just wasn't enough depth to these characters. The enemies didn't have enough tension before they became lovers. The scenes felt kind of rushed, and honestly, the smut scenes just gave me such a big ick. And you're probably thinking, Kaylee, you just don't like monster smut. Who said that? Did I say that? Because that's not true. Let's just say that I'm no stranger to monster smut. And this book was just, it just really grossed me out. Honestly, grossed me out so bad that the smutty scenes changed my overall rating for the book as a whole. And after hearing that, you're probably like, wow, you must have rated that really low. Well, no, I didn't. I rated it a 3 because honestly, I feel like if my expectations hadn't have been so high and the smut scenes hadn't have grossed me out so much, that it probably would have been an easy solid 4. I wasn't ever bored reading this book. I was still entertained. It was easy to get through. It just didn't give me that 4 or 5-star quality that I was looking for. And like I said for the millionth time, the smut scenes, they really grossed me out. But don't get this twisted, because I still love Ali so much and I respect her work with my whole heart. But this just wasn't it for me. From what I'm seeing on social media though, people are absolutely going crazy over this book, and more importantly over the smut scenes. So to each their own. You might like this book, but me personally, it just felt kind of bland, and dude's member really just it really grossed me out. But I'm telling you right now, Book Talk has lied to us before, and they're lying to you again. Next we have House of Flame and Shadow, and I'm not gonna get into it too much because I literally posted 2 entire videos explaining why this book irked my entire soul. But basically, this is the 3rd book in the Crescent City series, and everybody was expecting to have this huge merger between this series and ACOTAR. Even though she didn't clearly state that there was going to be this huge merger, it was heavily implied. But the main points of this book is that it was all over the place. It was a huge cash grab. It ruined the entire Crescent City series for me, and of course, highly disappointed. Again, if you want to hear all the reasons that I give you to avoid this book, go and watch my other videos. If you haven't read this book yet and you're planning on reading it, I have a spoiler-free version. But if you really want to know all the dirty details of why this book was the worst book that I feel like she's ever written in her entire life, go watch my whole spoiler video on this. My overall rating of this book was 2 stars. I'm pretty sure in my previous videos I was super generous and gave it a 3, but the more that I sit and fester on this book, it does not deserve deserve a 3. This book was a 2. If you like Crescent City, do not read this book. You are going to ruin the entire series for yourself. No. I just keep messing everything up. My camera keeps getting hit. Lights keep getting moved. You know what? But that's okay. This is just authentically me, you know? I'm just authentically a hot ass mess.
Why pretend like I'm not?
This is literally our second time around filming this because my camera quit filming, so that's great. I also don't have a viewfinder right now, so also great. So you get what you get. Your girl is trying.
And I appreciate you being here.
So the third book that we read this month was The Fury by Alex, can't say that last name,
Michaelides.
This book is a thriller, but it's being told like if a friend was telling you a story, if that makes any sense. So we're following the main character who was invited to this private island on Greece that was owned by his movie star friend, and she invites him and a few other friends to come to this island for a little holiday, and basically just all hell breaks loose. This is kind of like a murder mystery whodunit, but the way it's told, you really can't predict actually anything until you're told what's going on. So it really did keep me intrigued. Now, my all-time favorite thriller author is Riley Sager, and so sadly, for every other thriller author, I compare their books to his books. Like, his books are the scale on like top-tier thriller books, and if they don't meet that expectation, they're not getting a high rating. And this book was good, but it wasn't Riley good. It did have the plot twist, but not like the plot twist that Sager does where you're actually gasping in real life. You're like, no way that just happened. This one, I was reading it and I was like, that's a little crazy, you know? I mean, it was still good, but it wasn't like, oh my god, I cannot believe I just read that. You know what I mean? It was easy to read, easy to get through. It did keep me intrigued, but it just didn't have that wow factor to me. I would still recommend it if you want just an easy thriller to get through. I think this book is, 288 pages. So it's not a huge book. You can read it real fast if you need like a little break in between series, but it just wasn't giving me, again, that just amazing thriller 5-star quality that Sager gave me. So for that reason, I would say I'm gonna give it a 3.8. Still a good book, still recommend, good thriller. 3.8. Well, since we're on the topic of thrillers, let's just go ahead and mention the next book that I read, which was The Paris Apartment. How to describe this book? It was good, but again, not the best thriller book that I've ever read. I felt like it was trying to be shocking by having things that were so outlandish happen, but it just felt honestly like the author was just like, oh, that would be crazy. Let's just throw that in there. That's so random. You know what I mean? It just honestly came together as so random, and it didn't come off to me as like, I never would have expected that. You know what I mean? It just kind of came off like, that was kind of random. It was a little too outlandish. This book is following primarily our main character, Jess, who is a broke British woman who is running from the law because she had some things happen. And so in order to get away from her troubles in London, she flees to Paris to her brother who lives in the Paris apartment. But when she arrives at her brother's apartment, she is greeted by an extremely unwelcoming building and her brother is nowhere to be found. But she is scared to go to the police because obviously, like I said, she's had some trouble with the law, and so she decides that she's gonna play Sylvester Sleuth and she's gonna go and try to find her brother herself. And then whenever she starts Sherlock Holmes in, it just gets real crazy. This book is multi-POV, so it's following everybody who lives in the building, and so whenever we switch to different POVs, we're kind of getting little bits and pieces of how everybody felt about her brother and just little clues as to what could have possibly happened to him and who could have done it type deal. But honestly, at times, it just felt a little boring, and then whenever the crazy stuff would happen, it was kind of one of those things like, no way. In any type of universe, this could have actually happened. So it just felt a little forced. But if you liked Riley Sager's Lock Every Door, it's kind of giving those same vibes. It's just not as good. Overall rating, I'm gonna give it a 3-star. Wouldn't read it again, but if you want a palate cleanser, you could read this. Okay, I'm super excited. Finally, a book that I am so excited to talk about. It is The Serpents and the Wings of Night. This book gave me life. This book gave me love. This book I was live, laugh, loving for. It was actually so freaking amazing and I'm obsessed. This book is the first book in the Crown of Nyxia series. I have not read the second book yet. I'm very, very excited to, but this book is basically Twilight meets Hunger Games meets Powerless. It was enemies to lovers, high stakes, and of course, it had vampies in it. The enemies to lovers was absolutely giving. The trials or the competitions that they went through were honestly awesome and way better than Powerless in my opinion. The vampy vibes were vamping, and most importantly, the smut was smutting. I literally cannot put more love on this book. Originally, I rated this book a 4-star, but honestly, I think about this book every single day, multiple times a day, so I'm probably gonna have to bump it up to like a 4.5. It's not the best book that I've ever read, but I mean, like, it's pretty freaking close. It's pretty close. It's so good. I don't want to say anything more about this book because I don't want to spoil a single thing. But babe, I promise you, this book, if you like Twilight, read this book. If you liked Hunger Games, read this book. There's so many books nowadays that I feel like that are trying to copycat Twilight and Hunger Games, and they just ain't doing it right. But this book, baby, it did it right. Oh, okay. One thing that I want to say though is there was a plot twist at the end of this book that I literally would have never saw coming, but I actually shed real tears for it. I really highly recommend. Please read this book. Okay. Time to get into the 2 DNFs that I had. Are you ready? What? Come on. You guys know y'all overhyped this book. It wasn't even that good. Y'all know it wasn't even that good. Y'all know y'all lying. Seriously though, these books were absolutely not worth the hype at all. It's giving heavy YA vibes and not in the good way. It was very boring. So basically, this is just about a competition between 6 realm rulers, and this competition takes place every 100 years, and it's supposed to be like extremely high stakes, and whoever wins this competition will free their realm of the curses that were on their realm, and they also sometimes have to work together to try and solve this riddle that could break all of their curses. But honestly, I don't even really remember. It just really was not giving for me. I found myself trying so freaking hard to get into these books because everybody and their dog has been like, oh my god, I love Lightlark. Oh my god, Nightbane. It's literally so good. And like, I literally gave this book such a hard try, and y'all, it wasn't good. This is the instance that I'm talking about with book talk. Y'all lied to me again.
You lying. Why you always lying? Oh my god. Stop your lying.
Cruel Prince. It was giving the same mediocre vibes as Cruel Prince. Very bland, very surface level, and everybody and their dog was like, oh my god, Cruel Prince, it's so good. I love Cruel Prince. I was so hyped to read Cruel Prince. It was not it. It was so not it. And look at me over here. I bought both of them because I trusted y'all. And y'all were like, it's so good. And I was like, say less. So I bought them both, and I'm never gonna pick this up. I'm never ever gonna pick this up because this wasn't even good. And honestly, I hate to say that because the author, Alex, I follow her on Instagram. She's absolutely adorable. She's so cute. I wish nothing but success for her in her life. But this is something that I feel like maybe a 10-year-old would enjoy. But somebody who's an avid reader, who reads every day, who loves complex stories, who loves to be enthralled by a book, this was not it. It was just so very shallow. And for that reason, I would not recommend it. And I'm gonna rate it a 2-star. I was so worried that these were gonna throw me into a slump because, like I said, I tried so freaking hard to force myself through these books, and it was miserable. Hold on, I can feel my lips getting gross. I'm gonna reapply. I don't know if I'm the only person in the world who has this problem, but like, I literally I'm always keeping my lips moisturized, and like, maybe I just have like extra sheddy lips. I don't even know if that's a thing, but like, my lips 24/7, they just feel like they're shedding, like they're just peeling. I don't know what is going on because I hate feeling like I got lizard lips. Anyways, I was super worried these books were gonna throw me into a reading slump, and low-key, they kind of did because I did not read near as many books as I normally would. But with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get into my rereads, which were Magnolia Parks and Daisy Hates. If y'all have been watching my channel, you know that I am literally toxically obsessed with this series. This entire series is giving high-key Gossip Girl vibes. Now, before I get into these, if you watched my January wrap-up, you're probably thinking, wait a minute, didn't you say that you were gonna read Magnolia Parks Into the Dark? Yes, I did. But I have an explanation. As you can see, I have the first book with the original cover, which is literally absolutely gorgeous. It's fully stunning. It's serving, it's giving perfection. And the rest of the series covers are also everything. They're literally gorgeous. But they are hella hard to come by and are so freaking expensive, or so I thought, because I found out that you can order them on Blackwell's, which is like, I guess this site that's based in UK, but they ship out all of their UK like covers that they have to like people in different countries, and they don't charge shipping, so you just pay the price of the original book. So instead of paying like 120 bucks for the rest of the series and the original covers, I paid, I think it was close to like $18 a book and free shipping, which is incredible. So I canceled my Amazon order, and I was going to read Into the Dark, but nobody told me the wait time could be like over a month. So I do have Into the Dark on my Kindle, but I really just wanted to read it in its beautiful original cover that I ordered it in. And so I figured, why not just go ahead, since I'm waiting on them, I'll just reread the entire series, and by the time that the End of the Dark gets here, I should definitely have all of them read and it'll be fresh on my mind. But again, to sum up, I'm absolutely obsessed with these books. If you don't know what this series is, it's following two main storylines, one being Magnolia Parks and BJ Ballantyne's toxic love story, and the other being Daisy Haight and Christian Hemming's story, and they are just so good. It's so toxic. It's such a different type of romance book, and like I said, if you love Gossip Girl, you're gonna love these. Like literally, if you love Gossip Girl, there's nothing else to be said. Just go pick these books up. They are going to destroy your entire soul. They're going to make you weep. They're going to crush your heart. You're going to feel depressed and just messed up inside, but you know, we all love that sometimes, right? So go pick it up. And that's all the books that I have for the month of February. Again, thank you all for hanging out with me. You know I love spending time with you guys, talking books with you, reflecting on our reads, gossiping, and just hyping and talking shit about books. It's like we're our own little book club, except it's probably just a book club of one, and I'm over here delulu with my 100 subscribers thinking that I have people that actually watch till the end of the video. So, you know, honestly, I feel like I could just like do anything right now, and I think maybe like one or two of y'all would see this. So if you are here at the end of this video, you watch the whole thing, let's see, what can we tell you to do in the comments? Make it something crazy outlandish, so that way people in the comments, if they see it, they're like,
what in the hell?
Let's do something fun. If you're here and you watched all the way to the end of the video, comment something crazy. Let's make it, oh, I didn't know you had a sixth toe. Something like that. Just in the comments say something about my sixth toe. I don't have 6 toes, and I'm not about to put these dogs on display for you guys, but just say that so people think that I'm gonna show you my 6th toe, and then they have to watch the whole video. And if you went back and you read the 6th toe comment, and you're the person who came back and you rewatched the video to see my 6th toe, you're not invited to our book club anymore because you're fake. Anyways, honestly, what is wrong with my brain? As always, please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff that you guys know how to do. Your love and support means the world to me, and I cannot wait to see you next time.